Previously on Aaron Turner's Game Reviews. It's time for your Sonic Advance 2 review. Yeah, fine. You need to go through the process of collecting 28 Chaos Emeralds to unlock Amy Rose. Oh, but don't forget, you also need to suffer through the boss fights 28 times, which also means you need to do the boss rush at the end too, which means you actually need to fight the bosses a total of 56 times. All of this just to unlock Amy fucking Rose, a character who I don't even like playing as. Ah! Alright folks, sorry about that. I'll explain the situation. Basically, we had to take Aaron to a mental asylum as a result of having to review Sonic Advance 2. Although if you ask me, I think this has been building for a while. I mean, this is his 35th game review, so maybe that's the reason he went insane. Wait, so who's gonna review games now? That's what we've been thinking about. Well, I'm sure we can review games while Aaron's recovering. Alright, well I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. See, Sonic, I told you we could review a game for Aaron. Yeah, let's just hope that Sega doesn't hear about it. Look, I don't care about your bullshit excuse. You know you can't be reviewing Mario games. It makes us look bad. If I see another Mario review from you guys, all 3 of you are fired. Oh, I have an idea. Why don't we review a Sonic game? How about Sonic Heroes? I mean, clearly nothing can go wrong with reviewing one of our own games, right? Well, it seems we all had problems with the game, at different levels. What game should we review next? Oh, Sonic, let's review Sonic Advance 3. We should review it as a favor to Aaron. He probably wouldn't want to review it after what the second game did to him. Okay, sure. You reviewed Sonic Heroes and you all criticized it. Especially you, Sonic. You gave it a pretty miserable review. You know what? I don't want you or your friends reviewing any more games, period. We can't be reviewing games for Aaron anymore. Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait till Aaron comes back, I guess. Hey look guys, Aaron's back just in time. We were gonna review Sonic Advance 3 as a favor for you, but we don't want to risk our jobs at Sega. Do you think you could try reviewing Sonic Advance 3? What? So, let me get this straight. I've just come back from being in a mental asylum, and the first thing you guys want me to do is review the sequel to the game that originally put me in the mental asylum? Are you guys high? No. No. Yes. Come on, Aaron. It can't have the same effect on you as the second game did. Would you just give it a try? Despite everything that happened last time, I suppose it couldn't hurt to at least give it a try. There you go. That's the spirit. But I swear, if anything goes wrong this time, you guys can all go fuck yourselves. Well, I'm gonna go then. I'm not in this game anyway, so I don't really care. So it's no secret that I have been very critical of the Sonic Advance games. Sonic Advance 1 and 2 I felt were very flawed games, mainly suffering from a lack of original zones and god-awful boss fights. Especially the second game, which was the game that drove me fucking nuts, and why I had to be taken to a goddamn mental asylum. But now it's time for the last Sonic Advance game. It's all led to this, the game that is considered by most fans to be the worst of the trilogy. Let's get into it, starting with the story. The story is a little different from the previous two. However, in order to explain this story, you'll need some context. In 2003, Sonic Battle released for the Game Boy Advance, and was a fighting game which actually had a pretty in-depth story to it. Now, I've never played this game, but what you need to know is that there's this robot named Emerald, and at the end of the story, he gets destroyed. The game is basically a prequel to Sonic Advance 3, because in Sonic Advance 3, Eggman takes the scraps of Emerald to make Gemerald, who he uses as a weapon against Sonic and friends. Eggman uses chaos control and breaks the planet apart into 7 different areas or zones. Sonic and Tails are in Route 99, the first zone, and go to find Knuckles, Cream, and Amy, as well as fix the planet and stop Dr. Eggman. This is all sounding very familiar. Now, first of all, you still need to unlock characters, but unlike Sonic Advance 2, you unlock them from just going through the zones normally. There's no bullshit secret unlockable character that you need Chaos Emeralds to unlock, thank fucking god. You have all the same characters from Sonic Advance 2, although one of the main gameplay mechanics is choosing a partner. Wow, another game with a team-up mechanic. What is it with the games this season having team-up style gameplay? You see, depending on who you choose as your partner, you'll be able to do different abilities. Now, if you've seen the previous reviews, then you know I complained a lot about the characters having abilities that I thought were pretty useless for the most part. But I'm happy to say that I actually liked the majority of the abilities in this game. I know, I'm just as surprised as you are. Now let's go over each character combination and their abilities. Let's start with all of Sonic's combinations. Sonic with Tails is a pretty basic combo. Although Sonic does have the Super Hop ability and Side Hop from Sonic Advance 2, unfortunately, he also has his Somersault ability. Now here's the thing. Sonic's Somersault is actually useful in this game. You see, they added these cement blocks that you have to break in order to pass them. You can use Sonic's Somersault to break these. However, that's not really saying much. That would be like someone inventing something and claiming that it's useful, and then other people are saying that they don't see what its use is, so the inventor just invents something else that the previous invention can be used on. Yeah, that's not really how it works. But another thing is that you can just as easily jump into these cement blocks, which makes me wonder why they didn't just bring back Sonic's stomping ability, which would maybe be more effective and break the blocks faster. Also, the Super Hop is only available for Sonic if Tails is his partner, although I don't understand why they didn't give it to him while Knuckles is his partner, since you can use Tails' flight. Now, having Knuckles as Sonic's partner gives his Somersault a wider range of attack, along with some fire, so yeah, better to use, but still not great. Having Cream as Sonic's partner, you'll be able to do the Somersault normally, but you also can do a dash forward, which is nice. I mean, it's the closest you'll get to being able to use the Flame Shield from Sonic 3 in the game. Having Amy as Sonic's partner allows you to use Amy's hammer, however the downside is that you have to use the B button to jump into enemies in a ball, as using the A button just gives you a regular jump, which leaves you vulnerable to enemies. It's kinda similar to just playing how Amy plays in the previous games, and you already know I'm not a fan of Amy's gameplay style in the advanced games. So in terms of playing as Sonic, my favorite partner to use with him is Tails. Now let's go over all of Tails' combos. That's me. Yeah, no shit. God, Tails, are you always this obvious? Hey Tails, did you know that the color red is red? Man, you should have been here when we were reviewing Sonic Heroes. Anyway, Tails having Sonic as a partner allows him to use his tail attack, do the Super Hop, as well as being able to fly. Having Knuckles as his partner allows him to do quite a few abilities. First off, his tail attack turns into a little tornado. I'm not really sure if there's much difference with it other than it lasting slightly longer. He can also do a spin attack in the air, but I don't really see the use for it considering he can just jump into enemies. However, the big thing he can do with Knuckles is that he can glide just like Knuckles. Now, he can't climb walls, but I do find it funny how he wears boxing gloves while gliding to make himself look more like Knuckles. That's a really funny detail. Tails having Cream as a partner is pretty disappointing. He has his tail attack, however the only other ability he has with Cream is that he flies slightly differently and it doesn't even last nearly as long. Now, Tails having Amy as a partner, that is the shit. Now, normally I don't like using Amy's hammer, but with Tails, it's awesome. Instead of his tail attack, he uses the hammer, and he also has the spin attack in the air like with Knuckles. However, the best part is that he can fly while using the hammer. That is really cool. So of course, my favorite combo with Tails is having Amy. Alright, let's see what Knuckles has for us. Knuckles having Sonic is pretty lame, honestly. He has his 1-2 punch from Sonic Advance 2, however the only other thing he can do is this headbutt forward. I think it's kinda dumb. Having Tails as his partner, however, is much better. He can do an uppercut instead of punch, and he can glide and climb walls. Although when he goes to glide, he does a little double jump, which he doesn't do with other partners. They changed his gliding animation to a more superhero-looking pose, which I don't really like, but it's only with Tails. Cream as his partner is pretty disappointing though. He just plays exactly how he was in the previous games, as well as having his normal gliding animation. I guess they didn't really know what to do with Cream as his partner, and I don't really blame them for that, but it's still disappointing. Knuckles having Amy as his partner of course allows him to use a hammer and the spin air attack, but it's also pretty lame as the only other ability he has is gliding and climbing. Overall, Knuckles' abilities are pretty lame for the most part. If I had to pick the best partner for him, it would probably be Tails. Cream the Rabbit was my favorite character in Sonic Advance 2, so let's see how the combos work for her. Cream with Sonic as her partner of course allows her to fly, but she uses cheese in a slightly different way than with the other characters. Normally she commands cheese to home in on an enemy, but with Sonic she sends cheese in a specific direction, and cheese destroys anything in a certain path. I think I still prefer the homing in on enemies, but they're both good. With Tails as her partner, she still has the cheese attacks, but instead of flying, she can use an umbrella to slowly float downwards. I think I still prefer flying normally as her, but I'll admit the umbrella ability isn't that bad. Cream with Knuckles plays pretty much exactly how she did in the previous game, so either way you cut it, Knuckles with Cream or Cream with Knuckles is pretty basic either way. Cream with Amy is definitely my favorite way to play as Cream, because not only can she use cheese and fly, but also use Amy's hammer. However, it's not as cool as Tails plays with Amy, because you can't use the hammer while flying with Cream, although I suppose that's fair considering that Cream is already the most overpowered character. Yeah, there's not really much they did regarding Cream's combo abilities. Now finally, let's talk about Amy's combo abilities. Now first of all, having Sonic as Amy's partner pretty much fixes all of my problems with her gameplay in the last two games. You see, in the previous games, Amy couldn't curl into a ball. Her only method of attack was her hammer. However, by using Sonic as her partner, she can not only use her hammer on the ground and in the air, but she can also jump as a ball, and becomes a ball when doing a spin dash. In the previous game, she wouldn't go into a ball while doing the spin dash, which made her vulnerable to enemies. She also has this air dash ability that I actually found pretty helpful. So yeah, I kinda do like playing as Amy with Sonic as her partner. Tails as Amy's partner allows her to still use her hammer, however having Tails with her also gives her a mini jump boost when using her hammer in the air. She also has a similar ability as Cream's floating ability, except instead of using an umbrella, Amy uses balloons. However, there is a slight downside with having Tails as her partner, and that is the lack of a spin dash. Instead, she uses her skip forward ability, which I never liked. Knuckles as Amy's partner allows her to use a much bigger hammer on the ground, and allows her to use her super hammer jump from the previous games. However, there is another downside. While she has the spin dash with Knuckles, she doesn't go into a ball, unfortunately. Now, Amy's abilities are very limited when having Cream as her partner. She uses her hammer in the air, but it doesn't give her the jump boost. She also can't use her hammer to give her that super boost, and she can't spin dash. She has the basic hammer attack on the ground and in the air, and she has to use the skip forward ability. So I definitely wouldn't recommend using Cream if you're playing as Amy. Amy is probably the worst character when taking into account all of her combinations. It doesn't matter what partner you use as Amy, you'll still be very limited. Now yes, I think having Sonic as her partner is obviously the best option, but you still won't get all of her best abilities. Using Tails, Knuckles, or Cream as her partner will each give her some nice abilities, but you wouldn't be able to use some of her abilities that she can do with the other combinations. So Amy is still my least favorite character to play as, but I will admit I like playing as her more in this game than in the previous two. Yeah, you could argue Knuckles is worse in this game because his abilities are more disappointing than Amy's, but at least you aren't as limited with Knuckles. Now before we move on, there's still one more aspect of the character combos that I have yet to talk about. Depending on who your partner is, you'll be able to use a specific combination ability with your partner. By holding down the R button, you can charge up the combined ability. By having Sonic as your partner, he can give you a huge boost of speed. It's like having instant access to the speed boosters in the zones. You can do this on the ground and in the air. By having Tails as your partner, you can have Tails send you flying up in the air for a super jump as his ground ability. This jump is very high, I must say. Tails also has an air ability that's different from his ground ability. If you charge up the ability while in the air, Tails will be able to grab you and he'll carry you around like in Sonic 3. By having Knuckles as your partner, his ground ability will allow you to throw him at enemies, and his air ability will have him glide with your character on his back. I like the idea of Knuckles' abilities on paper, but they're not really great to use. By having Cream as your partner, both her ground and air ability will allow the player to command cheese to attack like Cream would, and if you do it in the air, you also get a jump boost. By having Amy as your partner, she can give you a ridiculously high jump boost with her hammer when on the ground. She can give you a boost in the air as well, but it's nowhere near as high when on the ground, which is fair. As far as the partner abilities go, I think all of them are great except for Knuckles. Aww. However, I think Tails has the best partner abilities. Suck on that, Knuckles. Oh, fuck off, Tails. In regards to what my favorite combination is, well, it should be pretty obvious that I like playing as Tails with Amy as his partner. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the most useful combination, but it's definitely the coolest in my opinion. I mean, you can fly around with a fucking hammer. What more do I have to say? I really like the partner system in this game. I think it was a great idea. They made each combination seem unique. Even though I might not like every single combo or every single ability, I really appreciate the amount of effort that went into all of the characters and the combos, and I do think it was a massive improvement on the character abilities from the last two games. There's so many options with the combos that it can be overwhelming. In fact, when I first played the game, I didn't really understand how the combinations worked. I remember the first time I used Knuckles and was disappointed that I couldn't glide or climb walls, not realizing that you can only do that with certain character combos. I thought to myself, well, this is stupid, you can't glide or climb as Knuckles, but instead have this dumbass headbutt ability? Fuck this! But obviously I've since come to understand the combos more, and I really have come to appreciate them a lot. So now that I've talked about the characters in extensive detail, I can finally talk about the zones. Now, first of all, one difference in this game compared to the last two is that Sonic Advance 3 has hub worlds. In these hub worlds, you have a giant ring that takes you to a room where you can change characters and go to the other zones. Then there's the act rings, which take you to each act, and there's these things that take you to the boss fight as well as take you to these mini-games that are used to get extra lives. That's one of my biggest problems with this game. I don't like being forced to go through the hub worlds in order to find the specific act that I'm looking for. Now, for example, let's say that you wanted to change characters. Well, you'd have to go all the way back to the beginning where the giant ring is, and then go all the way back to where you were originally. I mean, this is a 2D Sonic game. Why does it have to have a hub world? I don't give a shit, just let me select the act on a traditional world map like the other two games. Also, the game has 3 acts per zone, and then a boss fight, unlike the first game which had 2 acts per zone and a boss fight at the end of the second act, and the second game which had 2 acts and then a boss fight. Although, could you even call it a boss fight? I mean, you chase Eggman down in 7 of the most ridiculous boss fights I've ever fucking— Whoa. Calm down, Arron. You've already reviewed that game. You've already reviewed it. Anyway, let's finally talk about the first zone of the game, which is Route 99. Wait a minute, is it true? Holy shit! The first zone of the game is not a copy of Green Hill Zone? What a concept! But seriously, I actually really like this zone. It's a city-type setting with a bunch of different pathways for each of the characters. There's of course rails to grind on, which is always fun. Although one aspect I don't like that they added in this game is these switches you have to jump on in order to make a platform or spring appear. I don't understand why it was added. I guess it adds a bit more challenge to the platforms and springs, because they'll disappear after a bit, but I feel like it should have just been cut out of the game. Now, this isn't the fault of Route 99 because these switches are everywhere in the game, even the hub world, so I'm not taking anything away from Route 99. I still really like it, and I think it's the best starting zone of the trilogy. Neo Green Hill Zone was just really basic, and Leaf Forest Zone, while fun to play, wasn't very original. So no Green Hill Zone this time. Great! What's the next zone? You're not gonna like it. What? They didn't do another Green Hill Zone. I mean, how bad could it be? Alright, let's see here. Oh, God. Are you guys fucking kidding me? Sunset Hill Zone? Really? Come on, guys, you were so close. I was so happy with the first zone, and now you gotta go and do this. They really thought they could get away with it and trick us by having another Green Hill Zone, not as the first zone, but as the second zone. And not only that, but it uses a remix of the Green Hill Zone music. How unoriginal can you be? Okay, moving past that fact, is the zone at least fun to play like Leaf Forest Zone? Yeah, actually it is. I did enjoy the zone. Yes, it's unoriginal, but I do like how jumpy the zone is. I also really like the sunset background, so I have to give it some credit, even though I didn't love it because it's another Green Hill Zone. I think Leaf Forest was better though. Also, at the end of Act 3 you have a little confrontation with Gemerald, but it's pretty easy. Ocean Base is the third zone. This is definitely when the difficulty spikes up. You can easily get crushed in this zone. Although I will say, even though it's more challenging, I like the concept and I really like the music. While I liked the aesthetic of Toy Kingdom, the teacups, the Jack-in-the-Box springs, and really all of the toy elements of the zone, I felt like there was too many pathways and it got really confusing. Honestly, I think I liked Ocean Base more than Toy Kingdom. You encounter Gemerald again, and this time he shoots missiles at you, but it's still pretty easy. Twinkle Snow is the obligatory snow zone, and I loved it. It's the best snow zone of the whole trilogy. Ice Mountain Zone was too similar to Ice Cap Zone, and Ice Paradise was a fun zone, but I feel that Twinkle Snow brings more creative elements. I really like the carts that you go in, and I like the platforms that you need to push down to make them shoot you up. Although I gotta get something off my chest. Stop with the bullshit enemy and spike placement. This isn't just a problem with Twinkle Snow, it isn't just a problem with this game, it isn't just a problem with this trilogy, this has been a problem for most Sonic games. Now I bring this up now because Sonic Advance 3 is one of the worst offenders of this. I can't tell you how many times I'll attempt to go up a hill or reach a higher platform and be cock-blocked by some asshole enemy or some sudden spikes that pop out. Good God, that is frustrating. Cybertrack is a pretty difficult zone. It has anti-gravity, which unlike the last two games, I'm not going to complain about because Cybertrack isn't really trying to be like Death Egg Zone. It kind of takes ideas from quite a few different zones. The anti-gravity gimmick from Sonic & Knuckles, the spinning wheels from Scrap Brain Zone in Sonic 1, and these launching things from the last game. The first two acts aren't that bad, but the third act is pretty long and pretty difficult. Most of the difficulty is due to dumbass enemy and spike placement. I mean, sweet Jesus, the enemy placement. Also, you have another mini-boss with Gemerald again, and it's slightly harder. This time, not only does he shoot missiles at you, but he also teleports and flies over you. Chaos Angel is the last traditional zone in the game, and as expected, it's pretty difficult. I think it's much harder than Egg Utopia and Cosmic Angel Zone. God, these zone names are confusing. The first two acts have a shit ton of bad enemy placement. The third act has you trying to stay on this moving platform throughout the entire act. It's not as bad as the first two acts, but this is where your partner's true colors show. Oftentimes your partner will go ahead of you and activate the platform before you can get a chance to drop onto it. Thanks, assholes. Overall, I really like the majority of the zones. Ocean Base and Toy Kingdom aren't as good as Route 99 or Sunset Hill despite its unoriginality, and the only two zones that I actually didn't like were Cybertrack and Chaos Angel, mainly due to the horrific enemy placement. So, what did I think of the boss fights? Well, ladies and gentlemen, they were great. No, I'm serious. This isn't one of those fucking with you moments. Not only did the boss fights not damn near give me an aneurysm like Sonic Advance 2, but they also weren't unoriginal and basic like Sonic Advance 1. Route 99's boss starts with a mini Gemerald fight, which is just like your confrontation with him in Sunset Hill. Then he goes and powers Eggman's big hammer device. Eggman goes to each side and tries to hit you with it. It's pretty easy, but my god was it a breath of fresh air after suffering through the previous game's bosses. Sunset Hill's boss has Eggman in this roller which goes all around, and you have to hit his shell when you get the chance. It is probably the worst boss, but still not bad. Ocean Base's boss has you trying to get Eggman to land over top of you so that you can hit Eggman from underneath. This boss really reminded me of the chicken boss fight from World 7 of Donkey Kong Country Returns. I mean, seriously, look at these boss fights side by side and tell me it's not the exact same boss fight. In Toy Kingdom, Eggman is inside this Jack-in-the-Box, and you have to hit him each time he pops out until he falls off the edge. You also have Gemerald throwing missiles at you and dropping enemies. In Twinkle Snow's boss, you need to avoid Eggman while climbing a series of platforms. You need to make the platforms hit Eggman when they drop. You also need to avoid Gemerald's ball chain he shoots out, which is actually pretty difficult to avoid. Heh, ball and chain. In Cybertrack, Gemerald shoots these blue balls at you. Heh, blue balls. Oh, come on, Knuckles, why do you always have to make stupid, immature jokes? Anyway, you have to hit these blue balls to turn them orange. The orange balls are the only ones that can be sent back to damage Eggman. Chaos Angel actually has a pretty easy boss for the last traditional zone. Eggman keeps on switching the gravity and you just have to keep on hitting Gemerald as he goes by, as long as he's not electrified. The bosses in this game remind me a lot of Sonic CD's bosses. Just like Advance 3, Sonic CD's bosses aren't like most Eggman fights, where you just jump up and hit him over and over again. Sonic CD's boss fights, despite being really easy, were also really different and creative. I mean, a pinball machine running on the track and a race against Metal Sonic? That's awesome. Advance 3's bosses are like Sonic CD, but just much more difficult. Now, I keep on saying Chaos Angel is the last traditional zone because after that you go to Ultra Emerald, which is just a big boss fight. You have another mini-boss with Gemerald, the one where he flies around and shoots missiles. Then he powers up with Eggman again to create the ultimate weapon. He tries to crush you with his hands, and you have to wait until he shoots out these red balls so you can jump on them and hit his shell. Heh, jump on his red balls.
Shut the fuck up, Knuckles.
Although, let's be honest, you used cream for this boss, didn't you? Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, after you beat the boss, you get this hilarious part.
You're going to pay for this! Ow!
What the fuck? His whole getaway explodes and all he has to say about it is, ow?
Anyway, after that, Sonic and friends all stand around the Master Emerald and watch as it shines brightly and makes everything go from dark to nice and blue again. Also, Omo Chow snaps a pic of Sonic and friends.
So that was Sonic Advance 3. Yep, there's absolutely nothing else after Ultra Emerald. Oh Christ, who am I kidding? You already know there's a secret final boss and ending, which requires getting the Chaos Emeralds.
So how do you collect the Chaos Emeralds in this particular installment? You need to find 10 hidden Chows in each zone. Oh, but that's not all, because you also have to find a key that's hidden in one of the acts in order to unlock access to the spring, which takes you to the special stage. Once you get into the special stage, guess what? You need to collect a certain amount of rings.
So did I end up doing this? I'm sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face. Fuck no, of course not.
Now, if you do manage to do this and keep your sanity, you get to go to the true final zone, Nonaggression. Gemerald ends up betraying Eggman and powers up to become Ultimate Gemerald.
Oh god, once again, Eggman, you've just been slammed on your ass by a robot, and all you say is ow. Jesus, Eggman, you're more durable than Spider-Man.
Anyway, Sonic transforms into Super Sonic and teams up with Eggman to stop Gemerald. Although I will say I like the idea of having to do the charge combo ability with Eggman. That's actually pretty clever. Again, I can't really judge how this fight plays, but I can say how tired I am of each Sonic Advance game doing this. They each have an overcomplicated way of collecting the emeralds, and they each have a cliche true final boss ending with Super Sonic. Although I will say I really like how the credits kind of mimic the credits of the first Sonic game on Genesis.
Okay, so actually this time, that was Sonic Advance 3, and I think it's pretty obvious at this point that I think it's the best in the trilogy.
I'm surprised how much I liked this game over 1 and 2. Sonic Advance 3 improves on almost all the problems I had with 1 and 2. The abilities are way better and more useful. I love how much effort the developers put into each character and character combination. I love the majority of the zones. Sonic Advance 3 has the best starting zone of the trilogy, as well as the best snow zone of the trilogy. While Sunset Hill disappointed me with its unoriginality, I still enjoyed playing it. Ocean Base and Toy Kingdom, while not being as good, were both really creative. The boss fights were fantastic. However, it's far from a perfect game. I think Sonic Advance 3 has a pretty big mix between positives and negatives. While I think it improved on the problems the first two had, it still has the issue of collecting the Chaos Emeralds and another Super Sonic ending. It has some of the worst enemy placement in any Sonic game. The hub worlds are an annoyance and unnecessary. The switches for platforms and cement you have to break are unnecessary and should have been cut, and unfortunately I don't think the music is very good this time around. I'm gonna give Sonic Advance 3 a 7.5 out of 10. The Sonic Advance Trilogy is a good series of games. I may have criticized the shit out of them, but I don't think they're horrible games, including Advance 2. I want to make this clear right now, I cannot stress enough that I don't hate Sonic Advance 2. Yes, the game made me very angry, put me in a mental asylum, and while I still stand by what I said about it, I mentioned before that if the boss fights were removed, that game would probably be a 7 out of 10. In fact, because I've been so critical of this trilogy, I think as a farewell, I should take a moment to reflect on the good moments.
Can we cue the music, please? Thanks.
I'll never forget when I popped in each game and saw the cool flashy openings. I'll never forget when I played through Neo Green Hill for the first time and saw the amazing sprite animations. I'll never forget when I was grinding on a rail for the first time. I'll never forget experiencing the fast-paced gameplay of Advance 2. I'll never forget trying out all of the character combinations in Advance 3. I'll never forget playing as Amy for the first time in a 2D Sonic game. God, her gameplay sucks. Hey man, you're supposed to be reflecting on the good things, remember?
Oh, shit, right, sorry. I mean, look, you get the point. These games are good, fun games.
The trilogy gave us fun characters to play as, some really good zones, great music, great sprite animations, Advance 3 gave us cool abilities and fantastic boss fights. I'm sure back in the early 2000s, these games were probably considered the shit among Sonic fans.
So here's to the Sonic Advance Trilogy. You were fun, but now it's time to move on to better Sonic games that hopefully take some of your creative concepts and expand upon them. I'm saying farewell to the Sonic Advance Trilogy. I salute you. Phew, glad that's over with. I've talked about so much Sonic shit lately that I'm completely Sonic'd out. I think I'll take a break from reviewing Sonic games, at least for now. Sorry, guys.
It's okay, Arron. We're satisfied enough for finally being positive about Sonic for once in your miserable life.
Yeah, I just hope this review gets me some good views. I mean, the last time that happened was when the news reported on my review of Super Mario Sunshine. Wait a minute, that's it! We just have to get a hold of the team at the news and have them do a segment on me to promote my reviews.
Hey man, I could probably do that for you. I'm not really busy right now anyway.
Oh great, thanks Knuckles.
Trust me, I got this. You have nothing to worry about.
Alright, well, I'll get started on my next review while I wait to hear back. From this point forward, people are gonna know the name Arron Turner.
Oh, for God's sake, get over yourself. You think you're the only one who reviews games on YouTube? Dumbass.
Aww.